Hey everyone, welcome back to Siren, and welcome back to Kiyoyasuda, as we are going back to one of his missions for his second objective. Even though the save file says Reiko, we're not going to do the mission it would take us to, because that second objective is not yet unlocked. So we're going to go here, we're going to choose our own mission, going to choose our own adventure and go with Kiyoyasuda day 1, 8 o'clock. This is the first mission where he meets Miyako, and as it says here, he's struggling to accept the realization that Miyako is blind, and then her brother Jun comes to take her away. So, we haven't seen too much of the Kajiros, even though they've been mentioned a whole lot. They're an important family in Haneda. The main one we've seen has been Miyako, but the only other one we've seen is her brother.
I'm losing you.
And this is the only scene we've seen him in.
What do you mean?
I can't see unless I use my chara.
Oh. Are you...
This is where Kiyoya realizes that Miyako is blind, and she can only see if she's sightjacking someone else.
You still have more to do. You know that we can't proceed without you.
And from what Jun is saying here, it seems like that he probably wants to try to do the ceremony again, which Kay suggested.
It looks like you've
because it seems that the ceremony was not completed. Miyako needs to come back so they can do it again. And then that happens.
Hey!
Let's go!
Miyako is not a fan of the idea of coming back and doing that ceremony again. Maybe this scene makes a little bit more sense now that we know about that, and that she is supposedly the bride of God, as Kay says. Doesn't seem like she's very thrilled about the whole thing. Objective 2 in this mission is to find the grave of the Takeuchi family. It's a little difficult because the level, it's not exactly small, and there's nothing on the map that would really give us an indication of where this particular grave would be. There are graves all around the level. We can take a look at those. But we're going to leave Miyako right here because the objective did not say anything about leaving the level. All we have to do is find this grave, and then we're good. We have seen some second objectives in which you only have to find an item. You don't actually have to bother with leaving the levels. And those tend to be kind of easier, because we can just make a beeline to whatever the item is. We were all over this level the first time we were here, though. And we did not find this grave of the Takeuchis. Anyway, this is the weapon we got. We got the poker, which Kiyoya is still using. Up at the last point in the timeline that we saw him, which was when he and Miyako were in the house. They got woken up at night, and they had to fight their way out of the house. He's still using that poker. So in order to find this grave, we would have to comb all over the place. Like, there are graves here. We can take a look at them. It's a wooden monument. Probably of religious significance. That one says the same thing. They look like stones on the ground, but the mana cross on them. But we can't seem to observe them. And we can look all over. We can look at all these grave markers, and they're just all going to say the same thing. If one of the Takeuchis is buried here, they're not saying it. And it's nice to see someone who likes their work. You gotta like what you do. And the Shibito really like what they do. Someone saw me. Not sure who, or if they're coming right now. But that's okay. There's a lot of open space around, and we have our trusty poker anyway. Here's one place we didn't really look. There's like a whole lot of red water. Oh, here comes someone. There's a whole lot of red water here. It's running out towards the river, and that blocks us from getting to the other side. But there is a gap here in this fence. But of course, we're not going to go swimming in that. And we can see where the water is pouring out of. A little detail that we didn't notice the first time we went through this place. And it's going to come up now. It's going to be important. Because we could continue to look at these graves, but they're all going to still say the same thing. It's not going to tell me who's buried here. I had a lot of trouble when I was doing this the first time. And you know, looking at this level again, I realized that this part right here is actually a lot easier than I thought it was. I was trying to sneak up on the sniper, who's over there somewhere, in order to get the screwdriver that's by the truck. You don't really need to do that, because you can just walk this way. Oh, and there's something here that might go unnoticed. There's like a bush here. You can kind of see there's a path behind it. And yeah, that brushwood, it can be cleared away. Not the first time in this level where we were able to do that. And this time, we find a floodgate. Or a valve to control a floodgate. We saw where that water was coming from, but what happens if we shut it off? Well, apparently by doing that, we help out Tomoko later on, but in addition to that, we also help out Kiyoya, as we're going to need to have done that in order to figure out what we need to do. And you know, I'm not really caring that much that he saw me. I am just going to walk this way. We're going to go back. We're going to go back to that gap in the fence we saw. All that red water was rushing by, so we couldn't actually jump down. But what happens now that we've shut it off? Yeah, we can jump down, no problem. That's closed. But even though we can do that, oh, this is blocked. We can't hit it. I mean, it doesn't do anything. And there's no options that we can have. Well, we can shout at it. It does not respond. Oh, hey, there's someone up there. Well, someone else saw me, but I have things to do. Maybe we can find a way past those branches down there. We could head back up this way and go to the left. That's where we came from.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So if we head down this way, let's see if we can find a way past those branches. A natural bridge over what would have been coursing red water, but there's nothing there now. Stairs going up, but over here, well, nothing here for us. Inside of the drain pipe is too dark to see. So let's head up these stairs. And hey, there's a lonesome gravestone over here. Grave marker. I guess there's more than one, but most of them have been smashed. Only one remains. But before we look at that, let's also notice that there's something on the ground. Let's have a look at that. And we found a new archive item. The Takeuchi monographs notes on the Kajiro family, so information about the Kajiros, and it mentions that this is written by a local historian, Amihito Takeuchi, from 1971, so maybe this is Taman's father. We don't know what his name was, but maybe this is him. It says that the Kajiros are a prominent family, and we can take a look at what it has to say, mentioning that until post-World War II, the Kajiros were powerful landowners in this village, and they've apparently been here for a long time, because it says that they're placed at settling the area around the 7th century. And there are, people who differ in their accounts on how the Kajiros came to prosper. Some say it was due to a god. Others say it was due to a god. So, there's differences there of opinion of how this happened. It seems to be unanimous that a god was somehow involved. The Kajiros are long-lived. Sometimes someone who can see visions is born. This is a holy sign. I believe Kay did mention something about visions when he was talking to Shiro. And if this is a holy sign, and if the person who can see these visions receives special treatment, then perhaps we're talking about Miyako. There must be a reason why she is considered the bride of God, as opposed to anyone else in the Kajiro family. Because we've seen some information about them before. Here we go. John Kajiro's Family Register. Remember this? This was an old one. This is one of the first ones we got. We see the names of the Kajiros. We see that the daughter's name is Ayako, not Miyako. And the name Ayako was mentioned by Shiro and Kei in their conversation. And Jun is apparently adopted. Miyako, not mentioned here. That probably has something to do with her being the bride of God and all, not officially registered as existing in the town of Haneda. Now that we've seen that, let's have a look at this lonely gravesite.
Takeuchi?
And mission accomplished. All the while, Miyako was waiting back at the beginning, wondering what's taking so long. And Kyoya will get to mention about how he was looking for tombstones. For some reason, found some light reading about Miyako's family. Maybe she's interested in that. I don't know. Learning about some family history. Now we're going to save, and when we come back, since we did this second objective, it turns out that this timeline is going to take us to a new mission. You might have noticed that sometimes a secondary objective will lead to a related character having a mission. So we found the grave of the Takeuchi, well, probably might be Taman's father, it's hard to say. We found the grave of a Takeuchi. And because of that, that is going to lead to Taman Takeuchi having a new mission next time. Because sometimes, have you noticed that? Sometimes, like, when Kyoya found the letter, remember that very short mission? It was the letter from Mina to Risa. And the next mission was Risa's. So sometimes that's how those objectives go. We'll find something related to a character, and then the next mission is of that character. So we found the Takeuchi's gravesite. And because of that, next time round, Taman Takeuchi has a new mission. He is going to the Miyata Clinic, and we'll see what he gets up to in that hospital. I'll see you then.